Hello class, it's Mr. Wicklehouse, and today we are going to be multiplying and dividing rational expressions. This is not too bad. Mostly we're just trying to eliminate things on top and bottom before we multiply things together. So for instance, in this first example, you can see here there's a k plus 3 and a k plus 3 here. Well, because we're dividing, those two things just get crossed out and we don't need them anymore. Also, remember that when we're multiplying fractions, we're multiplying straight across. So all of these things are just basically getting combined together. So when they're across from each other like this, it's just like they're above and below one another. So again, I've got a 9 on the bottom and a 9 on the top. I can just get rid of them. Well, then that leaves my final answer to be k minus 6 over 5. How easy was that? Don't forget that we have excluded values in this too, and that's taken into account even though these are crossed off. So we have to think about that as well. So k cannot be negative 3. So those are all things we have to think about while we're doing this. Let's look at the second example. This one's a little bit more complicated because we have to factor a little bit. So this bottom expression here, I'm going to be able to factor. I'm going to be able to take a 7 out because 63 is 9 times 7, and I'm going to be able to take an n out because n squared is an n. So I'm factoring out 7n, which leaves me with n plus 9. Okay. Now I'm back to my multiplication, and again I'm just trying to cancel some stuff out, so the 8's cancel out, but right now that's it. So now my final answer is going to be n plus 4, 7n, n plus 9, and my excluded value is n can't be 0, and n can't be negative 9. Okay. So mostly this is all about factoring, canceling out expressions to simplify, and then combining things together through multiplication. Okay. So that's how you do the multiplication. Now let's look at some division. This isn't much harder, or really any different, because when we divide fractions, we keep the first term, we change the division to multiplication, and we flip the last term. So it's keep, change, flip. So we do r plus 2 over r minus 8, change the division to multiplication. Then I'm going to flip my denominator so it's on top, and flip my numerator so it's on the bottom. I'm going to do two things here. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm also going to go ahead and factor both of these. Okay, so I'm factoring this one and putting it on top. So we've got r and r. 6 times 8 is 48. Negative 8 plus 6 is negative 2, so my factors are r minus 8 and r plus 6. Now let's look at the numerator and put it on the bottom. So r and r. And then we've got 6 and 2 to make 12. 6 minus 2 is 4, so I do plus 6 minus 2. Okay. do some elimination here. Here's r minus 8 and r minus 8. Those can go away. R plus 6 and r plus 6. Those can go away. So I'm left with r plus 2, r minus 2. My excluded values are where my denominator would be equal to 0. So r cannot be 8. R cannot be negative 6. And r cannot be 2. Okay, one more example and then we're done. So remember, keep, change, flip. So I'm keeping the first term, r squared minus r minus 90 over r squared plus 4r minus 45. Change the multiplication, flip the last one. So 9r minus 81 over 9r minus 90. Okay, now let's do our factoring. Both of these are going to factor a bit. This one on top here is going to be r and r. We want to be negative 1 and negative 90, so we'll do negative 10 plus 9. Let's do the bottom one. R and r. 9 and 5 is 45. Positive 9 minus 5 is positive 4. 9r minus 81. Factor 9 out. Left with r minus 9. 9r minus 90. Factor 9 out. We're left with r minus 10. Do some elimination here. R minus 10, that goes away. 9 and 9, that goes away. So I'm left with, oh, Mr. Wicklehouse missed one. R plus 9 and r plus 9. So we're left with now r minus 9 and r minus 5. The excluded values are r cannot be negative 9, r cannot be 5, and r cannot be 10. That's all there is to this. I hope you guys ask me questions if you have any. Have fun. See ya.